saw today, we had a move the ball period, which we did one last week as well. You know, where the guys are calling it, offense, defense, personnel's getting in and out, and it's really the key part of playing the game because it's the most like a game at this point. So I think they handled it well. You saw there was some good competitive play. For the most part, we stayed up, got a lot accomplished, and we'll try to do a little bit more of that. Unfortunately, you won't be here to see it, but we'll do a little bit more of that as we go the next 3 days.
Welcome to a special edition of the Giants Guys. I'm John Fennelly. That was Pat Shurmur at yesterday's OTA out in East Rutherford, New Jersey, where the Giants completed their 7th of 10 scheduled OTAs. And our man Chris Bisignano was there, and he'll be with us in a few seconds. You can hear us on major podcasting platforms now all over the dial. We're on Podbean, iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, Player FM, and iHeartRadio. Just to name a few. We'll be on some more, such as Spotify. So wherever you're listening, thanks for tuning in, and hopefully you'll continue to do so. Chris Bisignano was out there at East Rutherford yesterday, and he joined us today for a little Giants chat. You could read his sideline tweets as well as his opinion and analysis at his Twitter account, @GiantInsider. Hey, Chris, how you doing today?
Doing good, John. How you doing?
Excellent. So you were out at Giants OTA number 7 yesterday, and the day started out with them saying goodbye to a couple of guys and adding a newer player, Garrett Dickerson, a Jersey kid from Northwestern, a tight end. They invited him in, and they let go, I guess, Keon Johnson, Jeremiah McKinnon, and Mike Jones.
Yes.
3 guys that really didn't have much of a chance to make the roster anyway. But I guess the move is to set up because they still haven't signed 3 draft picks, including Saquon Barkley. So I guess that they're looking to do that. They need to do that before camp. And we only have – this is the last real week of OTAs. And then, of course, next week is mandatory minicamp. So they'll probably be looking to get at least 2 of those 3 under contract before minicamp. So yesterday was a very active practice. Were they in the hangar or were they out on the field?
No, they were in the hangar because, it rained all night. So it was a little
field
outside.
Field is a little moist out there. Okay. Let's talk about some of the guys that you and I both wrote about yesterday. John Halapio.
Mm-hmm.
Now, he was starting at center all day, no?
Yeah, Halapio was with the ones yesterday, and you know what? Coach Shurmur talked about how this guy has opened their eyes. They like his feet, they like his power. Listen, the earlier OTAs, he's caught their eye, and he's going to compete with Brett Jones come next month in training camp for the starting center position. Sherman said yesterday, don't look too much into this, guys rotating in and out of ones, but I don't think there's any question that Halapio is going to be in the running for the starting center job.
Yeah, I mean, he came in last year. He played a bunch of games, and he started one, I guess, after Fluker got hurt. And he looked pretty good. According to the statistics, he took 231 pass snaps, and he didn't allow a sack or a hit. So that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, real impressive. As a matter of fact, I think he started the last 6 games of the year, Halapio, on the offensive line.
Right.
Yeah, and PFF, Pro Football Focus, did put that out yesterday, 231 snaps without a hit or a sack or a quarterback hit. So pretty impressive. I thought he played well. I remember, looking at him last year, and, he's bounced around a few different teams. He's been in a few different camps, and I thought he was pretty impressive, though. So this isn't really surprising that he's getting a look with the ones. I mean, he played guard last year, but they asked him, if he could snap, and he put out a story yesterday saying that Tampa Bay Buccaneer old fullback Mike Allstott actually got him into playing center. Told him, the more versatile you are, the better chance you have in sticking with the roster, and that's what he's doing. He looks good. No fumble snaps yesterday. Everything looks pretty smooth with Eli, and when he's snapping to Davis Webb. So far so good for the guys. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, they need a center. I don't think Brett Jones. He's serviceable, but I don't think he's would be a top center in this league. So I think they're really looking to see if they can find a better alternative for Brett Jones rather. And I think this guy could be it. Hopefully he is. I mean, they really need to get bigger on the offensive line. Jones is not that big, as we know.
Yeah.
The kid from Canada, this guy's a little bit bigger, probably about 320.
Yeah.
He's a little wider, and they need some heft up there. So they need to be more physical on the line. And Sherman's even mentioning that, in a lot of his interviews. He said, we need to be more physical. We need to be an attack offense. We can't be, you can't get pushed around in the trenches anymore. Those days are over. And I think that's one of the reasons why Eli was so apprehensive and spiking the ball, as soon as he didn't see anything, saying, I'm tired of getting hit. I need somebody in front of me.
Yeah, listen, no question about it. Gettleman, he's a hog molly guy, like he likes to say. And Sherman likes the power running game. They wanted to get more physical up. They wanted to get more physical up front, which obviously was the main reason they drafted, Will Hernandez at number 2. He's a big, nasty guy, and I think that's what's really attracting Jalapeno to Sherman too, John, is that he's more physical than Jones. He's a little bigger, and he seems to be a little stronger. Jones did a nice job last year. Don't get me wrong. He stepped in and played, like you said, serviceable. I thought he played much better than I thought he was ever going to play. I really did. He played much better than I thought.
No, he's a good guy to have. I mean, good, but as a starter, I'm not completely sold on him.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like to say, okay, this guy's our starting center for 2018. I don't know about that. He's a great guy to come in and play center, play guard. Somebody gets injured, but obviously Shermer feels the same way, and he's the competition will be there. Not saying that Jones won't win this competition, but he's not going to be slated for the number 1 job. In August, I can tell you that.
It's going to be a battle. It's a position battle we can keep our eye on, I guess, going forward. And don't forget that Shermer was a center at Michigan State. He was an offensive lineman. He's a hog molly himself.
Yes, he is.
A lot of people think he's a finesse guy because he's been an offensive coordinator and a tight end coach or whatever he's been over his career. Mm-hmm. This is a guy who, he played in the trenches on those Michigan State teams. And they won the Rose Bowl. He was a captain on the Rose Bowl winning team in 1987.
Yeah. You know what,
he was a ball player. He's not a Penn McAdoo. He's a real guy.
Oh, absolutely, John. You know what? Being around Sherman, you could see he's got that little edge to him. He's got that offensive lineman edge to him when he talks, the way he walks. He's out there with the defense, John. He'll be looking at defensive backs, what they're doing. He'll be looking at the linebackers. So he's got that. Even though he's an offensive-minded guy, he's got that old offensive lineman mentality. You could see it. You could see when he answers questions. You could see the fire in his eyes. He's not just going to be an offensive coach, that's just going to hang out with the offense and that's it. He likes going over the defense, see what they're doing, So it's a pleasant change. Last year, all McAdoo basically did was hang out with the offense, and you can see Sherman's got that different mentality, no question.
Yeah, I wrote an article for USA Today the other day about Shermer claiming he's not just an offensive coach, and he's been around defenses and good defensive coaches his whole career. When he played at Michigan State, George Perlis, who a lot of people don't realize, I mean, he was a Michigan State coach in the 50s and 60s. And then in the 70s, Perlis went to the Pittsburgh Steelers and was their defensive line coach and eventually their defensive coordinator under Chuck Noll, all 4 Super Bowls.
Yep.
And then he came back to Michigan State in the 80s, and that's when Carl Banks was there, naturally, and Shermer was there also. They only played together 1 year. Banks is older by a couple of years. But, he mentioned him. He mentioned, most recently with Mike Zimmer, who, Bill Parcells loves Mike Zimmer.
Yep.
He loves him. He's been around Spags, with the Rams. He's been around Jim Johnson. We all remember Jim Johnson with the Eagles.
One of the best defensive coordinators of all time.
Yes, absolutely. A great guy. He passed away.
Mm-hmm.
What a great coach he was. So he mentioned all of those guys. Plus he mentioned Nick Saban too. And
Absolutely.
you can't forget
Another Michigan State guy, another old Michigan.
The greatest coach in America, Nick Saban, without question.
Yeah,
so this guy's been around.
Oh yeah, I remember when he got hired. He called Banks saying he remembered him in the 1 year they played together in Penn State. Very nice play. You could tell he was a football guy. I remember Banks praised him when the Giants hired him. So it's not just like you said, John. Like you pointed out, he's not just an offensive-minded guy like Sean McVay is over in Los Angeles.
Right. Sean McVay needs a Wade Phillips on his at his side.
Yeah. Listen. Sean McVay. He admits he has nothing to do with it. He openly admits it, but Sherman's not like that. You can see Sherman's going to be involved with the whole team. He's got that defensive mentality, John, and an offensive mind coach. You know what I mean? Which I love, which I think is great.
Yeah. I like a couple of things about him. I can see him on the sideline, not buried in a play chart, but his head up, paying attention to all the details going on. I can see that. That's what a head coach should be doing. And I can also see him with the media. I've already seen it. He knows when he's talking to people in the industry and when he's talking to the media and when he's talking to fans. He code switches as to not to be condescending to people.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody asks him a question, he says, I'm not going to talk about it. I mean, he'll cut him off right away and say, we're not talking about that, and that's it. But, he'll be very polite and professional. He's got a good demeanor about him. He's perfect for this job. Now all he has to do is win. I mean, that's obviously that's the hard part, right?
Well, yeah. Listen, I love his demeanor too. You better have when you talk to him, in the presses, you better have a pretty good football question. You better not be an idiot and ask a stupid question, because I can see that he respects you if you ask a good football question, and if you start getting stupid, he's going to look at you like, don't be stupid. You can see that with Sherman right away, which I respect. It's a football presser. You shouldn't be asking questions about, whatever topic it might be or some stupid thing. A couple of times people have asked questions and Sherman basically gave two answers, like, yeah, I know about it, and that's it. So otherwise they don't ask again.
Well, when they ask him about who's not there, snacks, every time he has never come up with the answer that says, I haven't talked to him, or I don't know, or I didn't know they wouldn't be here today. He always knows if they're not going to be there. So that's good, because he's in contact, or they're in contact with him, saying, I won't be there.
Yeah, like Odell. Odell's missed the last few OTAs, but, Sherman pointed out that I've been in contact with Odell. I know everything that's going on with him and Snacks, the whole deal. So,
and Odell is slick because he puts all his workouts on Instagram.
Yeah.
He was throwing a medicine ball up to a balcony with he was on his back, pushing a medicine ball up through the air to the first floor balcony, and the guy was throwing it back down to him. Yeah, I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, no, I know. I've seen a few of his all-season workouts. They're pretty I get exhausted just looking at them. Oh my gosh! But
the guy's in terrific shape.
Yeah, the guy. Listen, Odell looks good, John. It's just a matter of time before he's cleared. So
now, has anybody? Right.
Yeah.
We'll get to Collins in a second, but Odell, has anybody mentioned anything about the contract, even a whisper about a contract extension or him possibly holding out? I know I hate to talk about this stuff, but it's there. It's hanging over the team right now, and it will be coming into camp.
Well, it's not as far as Odell holding out. That has not been going around the facility, not at all. There has been one whisper about him holding out. Obviously, the contract, the extension, how much, and the whole deal, that has been, that's a buzz around the building. But, not holding out. I have not heard that once. That has not come from Odell's camp.
Right.
He hasn't had anybody throwing it out there in social media about, you'll be lucky if you see him, at training camp. Nothing like that. He has given all indications that he will be there next week at mandatory minicamp, and he will be there for training camp.
Right. Okay, that's good. Now the Giants. Well, I think the Giants really want to see him go full speed before they sit down and say, okay, we're ready. That's the feeling I get. I don't know that for a fact. I mean, some people have reported that, but I don't think Mara or Gettleman has actually said that out loud.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but you can tell, and it's only fair. You're gonna give the guy $100 million. You want to be able to. You want to know if he's going to be durable enough to last a couple of years at least. And the guaranteed money, if they give him $100, the guaranteed money is going to be at least $60.
Oh, no question. No question. Yeah, he's going to be the highest
that's a
paid
lot of
receiver,
money.
John. John, he's going to be the highest paid receiver in football. I mean, there's no question about it. You know,
Yeah.
No question. He'll be making more than Antonio Brown does per year. And like you said, he'll probably get more guaranteed money than Antonio did. And Mike Evans' deal just now, you know, he just signed. He'll be the highest paid receiver. But like you said, hey, it's a huge investment for Mara, and they're going to want to see if he's 100% ready to go. You know what I mean? And it's
only fair
when
you think about it, right?
It's only fair. It's a business move, and this is a business no matter what. And I'm sure that's what Mara and Gettleman are waiting for, which I don't see it being a problem, John. He looks great when I see him in practice. I think he'll be 100% go come the end of July.
All right, let's move on to another guy that's eventually going to need to get paid, and that's Landon Collins.
Okay.
He's a year behind him, right? So
yeah.
He's practicing, but not in full. They don't really want to see him test that on too much. He had the red shirt on yesterday, and then he didn't have it on, but he's running well, and he's got a good attitude, and he loves playing in this defense, according to what you've tweeted out. Yeah. And he should be, I guess, almost a full go next week at minicamp. No.
I don't know if he's going to be clear for minicamp. They might hold out on that, John, but he should be. He should be a go for training camp. You know,
that's the
Landon
big thing,
I mean, if it was up to Collins, he'll be full contact right now. If it was up to him, but the Giants are they're pulling the reins in a little bit on. They want to be cautious. Sherman talked about yesterday. He wants to be a little cautious with him. Next week's mandatory camp, I don't believe he will be cleared, but I do believe he will be a go for a training camp. Listen, he had 2 operations on the arm, and they just want to be cautious. He looks good,
right?
But he's almost there. He's about 80% there, and he should be a go for next month.
All right, so he's all in. He loves Betcher. He likes the way they position him in the defense. You know, he's kind of a quasi linebacker anyway. You know, he's a big guy. Just if you stand next to him, and you probably have, I know I have. He's built. Yeah. He's not built like a safety. He's built more like a linebacker.
Oh yeah, he's a solid guy, man. He's one big dude.
Yeah, he plays in. That's why he's a box safety. That's why he plays inside, and not so much a free safety where he's got to go down the field in single coverage. That's really not his forte. He's better against the run and the short pass. So he's gonna be involved in a lot of contact, as we know. If he's playing his game, he's making a lot of tackles and assists all game long. Last year that didn't happen so much as it did the year before when he was an All-Pro. This year we hope he can get back to that. So hopefully he's ready to go for training camp. Like I said, it's not important if you're in the non-contract drills. You know what I'm saying? When the contact drills come along and you're not involved, then you have to start to worry about that.
Yeah, there's no reason to take a chance, John, of being out there in minicamp next week. Something happened. There's no reason for it, to be honest with you. You know what I mean? He's there at every OTA because he wants to learn his defense in and out. And that's what he's doing. So he'll have it down by training camp, and I don't foresee a problem for him at all. Collins is all in. Listen, Collins is he's a team guy, and he was talking about yesterday about a lot of his defense. It's not much different than what he did under Saban over there in Alabama. And he loves it. Like every defensive player, everybody you talk to, they all love Betcher's system, and they're all going to be in a position to make plays, John, and that's the key. Collins was talking about it yesterday. I'm going to be in a position to make numerous plays all over the field, and be very aggressive. And that's what defensive players love, and they love this system. It remains to be seen, but, everything's good so far.
Well, tell me about the coach, secondary coach, Lou Anarumo, who's
Yeah,
I guess he wrote it from Staten Island. I don't know too much about it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Staten Island guy, agree. Yeah. Yeah.
They love him, apparently, huh?
Yeah, very, very vocal guy. You know, he shows those New York roots. You know, John, he's got that edge when he talks. You know, he points out the mistakes immediately. You know, he doesn't like. He's the type of coach who looks like he doesn't want the same mistake. You know, the same mistake committed twice in 5 minutes. You know, he wants everything done the right way. And the players seem to really love him. You know, they seem to really have taken to him. And you know what, John? He did a heck of a job in Miami. You know, a couple of guys. You know, Mike Thomas. You know, really praised us. Mike knew him from Miami. You know, he really praised him. The job he did with Xavier Howard the last few years is really impressive. You know.
Right. Yeah.
Listen, you know, he seems to be an excellent teacher, John, and the players seem to really respect him, and it's a big plus because, as we all know, last year the secondary was probably the main issue of the team. You know,
there was like a mini mutiny going on. Everybody was skipping practice and dogging it. So.
Yeah, and you know what, John? Speaking of dogging it, I thought it was very interesting what Landon Collins said yesterday. Talked about some of the things that happened last year, what the difference is, the whole deal. And Collins said, there's no lackadaisical attitude around here this year. You know, everything is stressed. Sherman's very strict when he has to be. He gets the point across, the whole deal. I found that very interesting. To me, the way I interpreted it was that Collins was basically saying, hey, there was too many guys walking around, too many jobs that weren't, no competition in jobs, way too lax, and way too lackadaisical. I think Collins was trying to get that out to the media yesterday, saying, last year was a joke. That's the impression I got from Landon. So, but you don't see that this year, John. It's a whole different attitude in the building this year.
That's great. And let's talk about one of those guys, Eli Apple, who's all in this year. I mean, he's a completely different player in person this year. And, you wrote yesterday that he's all over the field. He's really playing up to his pedigree. And William Gay, who was a veteran, as we know, played with Pittsburgh for many years. He's seen a lot in his days. You quoted him as saying Apple can be a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, William Gay. What William Gay said was that he has the tools that if he puts together consistent seasons, 5, 6, 7 consistent seasons, that he could be a Hall of Famer. And that's what William Gay meant. It wasn't like William Gay just said, hey, I looked at him one time. It's just a Hall of Famer right now. He didn't say that.
No, he's been working. We know he's been working with him side by side. And, that's the way these guys do. They get in these units, and they're brothers. You know that.
Yeah. And listen,
like a brotherhood.
Just a quick point about Eli Apple yesterday. He made a phenomenal play on a sideline route in the end zone. And I'll tell you what was phenomenal about the play in regards to Eli Apple was that I was watching. It was right in front of me. It was man coverage on the sideline. I think it was on Cody Latimer, if I remember right. But Apple had him. He put his right arm into his body, and then he looked up to see where the ball was, John.
Nice.
He located the ball and knocked it down. I mean, that has been a problem with Eli, is that he has a problem locating the ball. So what he would do in the past is he basically just jump straight up, not turn his head, and you know what that is, John. Automatic flag.
Yeah. Or he'd latch on to his guy and get a flag that way.
Right. So perfect technique yesterday. But the thing that impressed me, and it was right in front of me. I saw the whole thing right in front of me. The thing that impressed me the most was that Eli located the man, put his arm into him like he's supposed to, and then looked up over his left shoulder, located the ball, and knocked it down. I mean, that is his biggest weakness. You know what I mean? He seems to be improving on that technique immensely this year, John. So, listen, we got to hope he keeps it up, And he has the tools, John. He has the tools. And that's what William Gay was pointing out. He said, hey, this kid's got the tools. And everybody says that, John. The kid has the tools to be a phenomenal corner. We all know what happened last year. Like I pointed, like the last time we talked, a lot of it probably had to do with his mom, And And his mom is all better, like we said last time, thank God. And he seems to have his head on straight, and he looks great. You know, he looks. I'm not saying, I'm not saying he's not going to get beat for 2 touchdowns open. I'm just saying that. Right?
Everybody gets beat. Everybody in this league gets beat.
Right.
Nobody is impervious to mistakes in the secondary because of the way the rules are set up.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so tough to play man today in today's rules, John. But
Right.
I think the kid's gonna have a big year. Hopefully he stays healthy. And right now the kid looks great. Right now Eli Apple looks great. I keep tweeting that. I know a lot of people don't want to hear it, but it's
No, I want to hear it. There's a lot of Giant fans that want to hear that. They want everyone to succeed. They want everything to be okay.
Right. So I know there's a little sentiment of anti-Eli Apple people out there because of what happened last year, but they will come around. They will come around when they start seeing the games, the exhibition games, and then the regular season. And if he continues to look like he does in these practices, John, people will be like, whoa, you know what I mean? This is the number one pick that Jerry Reese drafted. So that's what
Speaking of number
right
one picks, you wrote a lot about Evan Ingram yesterday.
Yeah, looks great. Looks great.
And he's hooking up with Eli, and they seem to have Eli Manning, that is, and they seem to have like a little simpatico going on.
Yeah, I tell you what, they look really smooth together, John. Especially on the seam routes, like I put on Twitter yesterday. There seems to be a real connection going on. His hands look real good. I know we all know Ingram had some issues with his hands last year, some drops, and you know what? John, he's a hard worker too, man. And I expect, what do you wind up with 65 catches last year, 63, whatever it was.
He ended up quite a number of catches. They piled up as the year went on. I mean, he had a couple of really good games, and of course, the drops were at inopportune times. That's why they're so pronounced.
Yeah. Listen, will he have 80 catches this year? Maybe not, because there's so much talent on the offense. There's only one ball.
That's right.
But I expect, Ingram's going to be a huge factor. I think he's going to have a real big year. And what I mean by real big year doesn't necessarily mean 85, 90 catches, Jason Witten like. What I mean by big year is 3rd and 6, boom, 7-yard completion. You know what I mean? Red zone, 3rd and goal on the 8, boom. But, that's what I mean, like big catches. I expect to see that at Ingram this year.
Yeah, we're all looking forward to that. When they drafted him, it was like, because he was a tweener. He's not big enough. He's not that 6'5", 250 guy. He's not a Shockey-esque frame on him. He's more of a Julio Jones frame, maybe a little thicker. 6'3", 235. He's not even as big as Mike Evans.
No, yeah.
Because Mike Evans is a beast, and but he can definitely play he can definitely play on the end of the line, and he can be split out, and that's another variation that Shermer keeps talking about, is how they can use this guy as a weapon, and just target him, just go into an offensive plan, with him as the main guy, without having the other guys on the offense is amazing. Let's talk. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, just quickly. I thought it was pretty interesting yesterday. Sherman was 100% on when he talked about Ingram. He's like, what, with this kid, it's like, what we could do with him. It's a chess game out there. And he said, this is something, that confuses deep. This is something that's a huge problem for defense. You see him lined up in the slot one play. You'll see him lined up as a wide receiver. You know what I mean? Off the line of scrimmage. So it's a chess game, and that's something defenses are going to have to get used to, in defending Evan Ingram. So it's going to be really interesting to watch him this year.
That's what I always talked about, the mismatches. Once he gets past the line of scrimmage, he's the biggest guy, and possibly the fastest, because he runs a 4.41 140 at 6'3", 245. So, or 6'3", 240. That's a tough guy to stop.
Oh,
and if the hands issue cleans up, like you said, he's going to be really hard to stop.
Well, and John, like I've seen in OTAs, so far. I mean, how would you like to see Ingram in the slot? Barkley lines up as a receiver, Odell on the other side. I mean, are you kidding me, John?
Yeah.
I mean, defense is going to have to prepare for that if Coach Sherman starts showing that after week 1. The second game, Dallas is going to look at this tape and go, what the heck are we going to do here? You know, when you got Barkley lined up
Yep.
one way, you got Ingram, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a matchup nightmare for defenses, John. It's just hopefully everybody stays healthy, man. It's going to be really,
Yeah.
really.
I agree. I can't wait to see it. All right, let's talk about two other guys, because we only got limited time left here. One guy you wrote about was Romeo Okwara, who was a defensive end. He was a UDFA at Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Who, I guess he was second team for a while there. He had some injuries too. He's playing outside linebacker now, and
Yeah.
he's a pretty big guy. I mean, that's a big guy to be doing that. How does he look? I mean, does he have the speed to do it, you think, or? Yeah,
you know what? He looks pretty good out there. I was watching yesterday. He had some one-on-ones with Nate Solder, and he's like 275 pounds. He's
a big guy. Yeah,
he's a pretty big guy. Romeo. So I tell you what, he's getting used to position. And looking at him, watching him yesterday, it's not like not like he has the look of a guy. Like, oh my God, what am I doing here? Like he has no clue, what he's doing in that position. He looks pretty fluid, John. I understand it's not contact. Don't get me wrong. I know, the whole deal. But he looks pretty solid in there. He looks all right, and he was there every snap yesterday. So that's something you're going to see in training camp. That's going to be an interesting position too. Watching him line up on the outside, for a guy that had his hand in the dirt, the first few years in the league. So obviously, Betcher saw something, and that's what they're going to look at it with this young kid. So we'll see where we're at. We'll see where we're at down the road.
What I like about having guys with that skill set, those big guys playing outside linebacker, is they can seal off the edge for the run.
Yep.
That's been a big problem for the Giants. Teams have been able to cut the corner and keep going. You need a guy out there, and you need your corners to code switch properly between run and pass and be able to seal off that edge also. They haven't had that either. Guys don't play the run that well. I mean, DRC played the run okay. I mean, some of the guys were okay, but the thing is that they weren't fast enough to realize that it was a running play instead of a passing play. And the end was wide open. The Giants with linebackers that were subpar to be kind, they weren't making many tackles.
No, and you know what, John? You saw defenses attack that the last few years. They just ran off the edges. You know what I mean? And there was nobody there. It killed us. It absolutely killed us. Casillas was, nice little player. That's it. You know what I mean? It really, that's something that you see is being addressed. Obviously in Betcher's defense, that you're going to have some guys off that edge now that can feel that edge. The Olivier Burns, the Kareem Mott.
You've got bigger guys playing across the front seven, which is what I like. That's how you win in this league,
Yeah, it's listen, it was a position that wasn't addressed by Jerry Reese, and I don't want to hear about you drafted sent him 1 year number 2. It wasn't addressed by Jerry Reese. Bottom line,
he didn't. He did
not make linebacker a priority, and guess what? Linebackers will be in Betcher's system.
Yeah, it looks like a linebacker-based system to me.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
They're pretty much running it because you got 4 of them out there.
Yeah. I tell you what, John. B.J. Goodson. If he stays healthy, I know he's obviously had some injury issues the last few years. If he stays healthy, he's going to have a big year in his defense too. He's going to have a big year. He looked good again yesterday. He's getting his defense down pat. And he's going to be a guy that is going to stand out. I think him and Ogletree in that middle are going to be a fun pair to watch. I think
they're going to get their opportunities to rush the passer too, from what I understand.
Yeah, absolutely. Betcher seems to be liking, this. He likes to send the inside linebackers on the A-gap blitzes. You're going to see a lot of that. He was showing some corner blitzes yesterday, Betcher. He had some corners coming in. Listen, John, it's going to be a very, very aggressive defense. Just go back to watch some Arizona Cardinal games the last few years, and, you're basically going to see that here. You're going to see that here. And especially, John, if Eli Apple and Jack Rabbit are healthy and are playing solid football. Because if you have 2 guys that are shutting down receivers, oh, man.
That's a big plus, yeah.
Betcha is going to be sending the house on third and passing situations. So it's going to, we talk about the offense and the weapons and Barkley and all that. I'm also fascinated just to watch his defense on the Betcha too, John.
So am I. I mean, there's a lot of storylines, this summer and this fall coming up with this defense and this offense. They've got a lot of pieces. I think they put together a pretty good roster.
John, listen, I know they were 3-13 last year. There is no reason if the Giants have had a little bit of the Mets disease the last few years. A lot of injuries.
That's right.
If they could stay away from these injuries, and listen, let's face it, a lot of injuries to key players. I think the last game of the year last year, Eli. They look at the guys he was thrown to.
I know.
They were like practice squad players.
They actually were. A lot of them were from the practice squad.
They were from the.
Some of them, I think, they picked up in the parking lot on the way into the stadium.
I thought so. Yeah, I probably could have got an invite. Walk into the building if I was there. But it was like, let's stay healthy. You know what I mean, John? If this roster stays healthy, there is no reason why they can't be in a playoff spot, John. No reason at all. Yeah. And this is the NFL. You could turn it around in 1 year, And I think Eli looks, he's zipping the ball all over the place. I just want to see him get a little time, get a nice solid running game going.
Yep.
And let's see where Eli's at in 2018. I think he'll be fine.
Yeah. They're already paying him, so they may as well put him out there. That was the point a lot of people made. You could make good with him, and that leads me to the last player I want to talk about today, and you've been writing a lot of good things about him, Davis Webb.
Yeah. Yeah, he's listen, I think Davis Webb in year 2 here is a different guy, I tell you what, John, you'll start seeing it, pretty soon when the games are on. You talk about a kid that throws a sideline fade. Oh my God, beautiful pass after beautiful pass. Hit Roger Lewis yesterday with an absolute beautiful back shoulder throw. He looks good, John. He looks good. We'll see next month. When they start hitting and and all that. But you have to be positive with the progress that Davis Webb has made. He looks, and you know what, John? He's got some competition. He knows the backup spot, the number 2 spot. Not him.
Yeah.
They brought in Loletta, and who's looking better too, John, by the way. The process has started with him, and he looks better and better. And, Webb's got a little, I hate to say, he got a little fire on his butt. Not that, he wasn't a competitive guy, but same old story, John. Competition brings out the best in you, and
that's
you're
right.
See that with Webb.
That's right. Tom Coughlin always said that.
You know what? Oh yeah, no question. You know what, John? You've seen that with a lot of guys. Even Will Hernandez. He was a highly touted number 2 pick, second round pick, and everybody thought like from the first practice on, hey, put him in left guard. That's where he's going to be. And he only started being with the ones yesterday. So Sherman believes in that competition. So does Gettleman, and only good results could come out of it, John. When a player in the NFL realizes that, hey, I'm one play away, I'm one bad game away from sitting my butt down on the bench, that's always good, John. Always good.
It is. And so I guess you're not going to be going back there until minicamp. Is that right?
Yeah, I'll be there next week. There's no media access for the rest of the OTAs.
Okay, cool. And then after that, it's 6 weeks
after
of
that,
nothing.
You got a month. Yeah, you got like a month off, month and a half off, and then then training camp starts and the grind starts, John.
That's it. The grind starts, and that's where we're going to step up our podcast. And it was really good having you again, Chris. And we'll talk again soon. All right?
Yeah, thank you, John. And all right, I'll talk. I guess I'll talk to you next week, bud.
Yeah. Have a good one, man.
You got it, man. Take care, John.
Okay. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to the Giants Guys podcast, dedicated to New York Giants football.